All right, so good news. Just reiterating something. I saw it on Twitter already. I was there because I have both accounts. I have accounts of Errol and Terrence. So I was watching what Terrence was saying and Errol was saying. And Terrence Crawford knows now that the fight is definitely happening. It's on the cards. Errol will face Terrence Crawford. We kind of knew this. Bob Arum even confirmed that a while back last year. But so Terrence Crawford will be facing Errol Spence. Um, on Twitter, Errol responded to Terrence Crawford talking about, dude, you don't get things made on Twitter, so don't worry about that. We won't. And Terrence Crawford, of course, responded to that by saying, "Man, I'm gonna call you." So Terrence called him up, and they talked, and I'm sure Errol assured him that the fight will be made. Terrence has nothing to worry about. And Terrence responded by saying, "Errol is the truth. He's the real deal." And the fight will happen. Which we kind of knew that. Errol said how it was going to go down. Told Terrence, I'm going to unify these belts, and I'll come after you. And then we heard from Bob Arum that Al Heyman said the fight would happen in 2020. That's what they're scheduled for. Might happen a little later on in 2020, or it might be Errol's next fight. Who knows? What we do know is it's going to happen this year. And since Errol's not as badly damaged as we thought he was, definitely happened this year. So, for all the Terrence Crawford fans out there, Bud's going to get Errol. All right? Once everything goes health-wise and so on with everybody, and I think Errol's pretty much healthy. People saying he's slurred speech and stuff. Maybe he is. But by the time they get to fight time, Errol will be fine. Errol's projecting May, June. Might be a little bit later, maybe June, July. But whatever it is, once Errol comes back, I don't know if he, like Errol said, he don't want no tune-up fight. So it's just about him getting back into shape and then facing Bud. Maybe Bud's next. Who knows? If it's not Bud, somebody of note, and then it'll be Bud. So 2020, Errol versus Bud. It's coming up. My thing is, Bud needs a fight in between that, I think. Maybe he'll wait on Errol. Who knows? We'll see. But Bud versus Errol is going down. And it's going down this year. It was scheduled to go down this year. It's a little hiccup in the game. Errol was going to face, I think, Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia instead is facing Red Cats. Maybe Errol will get Pacquiao next. Who knows? We'll see. But whatever fight it is, Errol's going to be ready for it. I can guarantee you that. And Bud doesn't have anything to worry about. He's going to face Errol. Okay? So that's a sure bet for him. So we'll have Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, which is going to be a great fight. First one was fantastic. Um, the drama and the twists and the turns, and we're going to also get Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. You guys don't have to worry about that. Okay. So Terrence was chirping away. You know, Errol ain't afraid of no smoke. So Errol just kind of put him in, let him know, assured him that, we're going to have that fight. So don't even worry about it. Don't trip. Because a lot of people feel that Errol's ducking Terrence, and that's not what's happening, obviously. It's not the case. But Errol had laid out the blueprint from since the first time he and Terrence met. He said, listen, man, I'm going to collect all them other belts and I'm going to face you. Reason, because cross promotion. So he collected the belt from Sean Porter. And the next thing he's going to do was connect Pacquiao belt. If Pacquiao don't want to offer the belt, then he going for Terrence Crawford. So that's pretty much it, really. Errol wants all the belts. And Terrence seems to want the same thing, so that's good. Terrence will get Errol. So you don't guys don't have to worry about nothing. So in the meantime, Crawford might want to face somebody. I don't know if he will. But it's all good. It's all good. Errol and Terrence Crawford is going to happen. Definitely going to happen. So you guys have nothing to worry about. For all the Crawford fans out there, you're going to get that fight with Errol. But see, the thing about it, what I'm saying is this, though. Terrence made everybody aware of himself and created a conversation and stirred up enough storm to get Errol's attention so you could actually talk with Errol and hear from Errol himself that the fight is on. Right? But Errol wasn't ducking or dodging nobody. Errol has continuously said he's going to face everybody, including Terrence Crawford. He want them all. He want all the smoke. You know, Errol's been that guy. So, it isn't surprising that Errol's been very consistent in what he's saying all along. And Terrence is going to get that fight. Once he stays world champion, he's going to get that fight. That's kind of how the Errol is. Errol's not like Keith Thurman, ducking and dodging people. I mean, Keith Thurman's injured again. So, hopefully he gets over his injury. So, there you go. So, I don't want to hear no more stupid talk about PBC fighters ducking Terrence Crawford. PBC fighters are not ducking Terrence Crawford. Right? They're not. What are you doing on Christ Sam Disciple channel? The Snyder Cut. I'll talk a little bit about the Snyder Cut. Also putting on an album called Invisible very soon. Working on that. So, that's what's up. I'm on Twitter as well. Yep, so y'all have nothing to worry about at all. Terrence Crawford will be facing Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence today made that abundantly clear. Yes, I know. I'm aware. But I generally do on this, the Snyder Cut, I do my Christian stuff on this channel. I'm not much of a good Christian, but I do I do my Christian stuff on this channel. Was it purposeful? Which is what? What is purposeful? The Snyder Cut? Right now we're making headway into the Release the Snyder Cut movement. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The Release the Snyder Cut movement is making a lot of headway. We raised funds for suicide prevention. We raised funds for Feeding America. Recently we brought attention again, not only to suicide prevention and Feeding America, but we helped out people in another country, taking care of the kids and giving them gifts over the Christmas. So yeah, even though we're talking about the Snyder Cut of Justice League, we do a number of different things. Yes, I'm talking about Bud again. If you've been paying attention, it looks like he will get the fight with Errol Spence. Errol Spence responded to him. He's making noise. I'm actually on Twitter. I'm on his Twitter. I'm on Spence's Twitter. I'm on Clarissa Shields' Twitter, Danny Garcia's Twitter, and so on. J-Rock and all those guys. I'm on their Twitters. So anyway, I'm just telling you guys, Errol Spence, Errol the Truth Spence, and Terrence Crawford, you have nothing to worry about once again. They're going to make the fight. I think Terrence has been successful in getting clarity on this issue as far as his camp is concerned. And I think that what's really cool about the whole thing is that, see, this is what Demetrius Andre need to do. And that's what I've been saying. Terrence Crawford used a strategy that, okay, he got to talk one-on-one with Errol Spence. He got his conversation with Errol Spence, and it's all gravy and it's all good. I'll go across to the What You Need channel in a minute and talk more about this. Yeah. So I wanted to post that up. They're right on my Twitter feed, so I saw everything. So Terrence doesn't have to worry about the Errol Spence fight. What he got to worry about is probably if he wants a fight in between that fight and now. And Danny Garcia said he wants a piece of him. He wants a piece of Terrence Crawford. He'll entertain the notion. He just said, let Bob Arum. He said that Christmas last year, actually. He said let Bob Arum send him proper contractual paperwork. Not him, not his father. Him through Al Heyman. Send it to him through Al Heyman. Because Al Heyman's the guy that they do business with. His manager. And he said, same thing with Errol Spence. Errol Spence said, Terrence Crawford, you got a boss. And we talked to your boss. We let your boss know what was necessary to make the fight happen. And then Terrence Crawford called Errol Spence. He said, I'm going to call you right now. He called Errol Spence, and Errol Spence probably broke it down to him what was going on. So that Terrence was like cool with it. Because afterwards he said, Terrence Crawford tweeted, Errol Spence is the real dude. He's a cool dude and everything. And the fight, he showed me the fight gonna happen between me and him. So it's happening. Al Heyman and Al Heyman, Errol Spence, and Bob Arum said the fight was gonna happen in 2020 anyway. So Errol Spence been saying that for like forever. Tangible Boxing says, if Crawford beats Spence, hold your horses, man. Don't go so far ahead. You talking about Crawford beating Spence and all of that shit right now. What you need to do is, see, the problem with you fanboys is all the time y'all was saying Spence ain't one that work with Crawford. Y'all was saying that Spence is ducking Crawford and all this stuff. Now y'all going past that. No, we're not just going to go past that just like that. All right? Blue Blood Sports TV covered this. Blue Blood said, first of all, y'all was saying as fanboys, and Crawford was making the allegation that these PBC fighters was ducking Terrence Crawford. Not just me, but also not just Blue Blood Sports TV, not just Coach Shelton Harris, not just the LDBC, not just what's his name? Showbiz the Adult. All right? Not just what's his name? What's his name? I forgot who. My boy. What's his name? From Atlanta. I forgot his name. All of us were saying the same thing. Nobody in the PBC is ducking Terrence Crawford. Nobody. Nobody's ducking Terrence Crawford. Nobody has ever been ducking Terrence Crawford. Okay? Terrence Crawford came on the scene 2 years ago. Right? So, that is the welterweight scene. I can guarantee you nobody's ducking him. Right? The thing was that these guys had the majority of the fighters in the boxing game had been with the PBC. So, and they were going for opportunities in the PBC, and more people were attracted to the PBC. So there was always a plethora of options for these fighters. They could face other fighters in the PBC. They didn't have to face Terrence Crawford. They didn't have to. He wasn't a must-go-to guy. Right? Because the PBC had all the fighters. So Terrence Crawford was the one that had to get those fights. And he just ran out of opponents. That's why he yelling and screaming and bawling so loud. Because he ran out of opponents. Bob Arum cannot do anything for him. And even when I listen to Boxing Ego, y'all, I know y'all don't really like Boxing Ego, but whatever. When I was listening to Boxing Ego, he made the same point. Boxing Ego basically said that they saw this down the road. Why did Terrence Crawford sign again with Top Rank? Why did he do that? Top Rank ain't got no opponents for him. The majority of opponents are at the PBC. right? And he had predicted that this moment would have come to pass. And now Terrence Crawford had to be yelling, screaming, and bawling so everybody could hear. You know, and Errol Spence done already had told Terrence. In fact, Errol Spence had shown up to an event that Top Rank had. That's to tell you how much Errol Spence was a dude who wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. It was not he didn't want to fight. That talk was stupid. The first time Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, it was caught on ES News, met up, it's because Errol Spence went to an event, a Top Rank event, an ESPN Top Rank event. Errol Spence showed up to that event. It wasn't Terrence showed up to a PBC event, because Terrence don't do that. Right? He showed up to his own event for his friend, but he never showed up PBC events. Errol Spence showed up to an ESPN event. And Errol Spence confronted Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence basically was the guy that got up and crossed the pond to meet Terrence Crawford, to have the discussion. Errol Spence has never once said he does not want to face Terrence Crawford. He's never said that. He's the one PBC fighter that always had Terrence Crawford's name in his mouth. Always. So I'm shocked that people are like, Errol Spence is trying to duck Terrence Crawford. Then Terrence Crawford started going off on a tangent, and he just lost his cool. And some people were saying, like Coach Shelton Harris, he was saying that, you know, Terrence Crawford's losing his shit. This is not the way to approach it. And I was saying, that's a good way to approach it, because you need to make noise. Because if Terrence Crawford stay quiet, then he takes whatever he gets. You know, by him making noise, not only, as Blue Blood Sports TV says, it gives promotional hype to the fight to start with. So people start picking sides even more, and builds the fight. But even in addition to that, he got Errol Spence's attention. Errol Spence is actually responding to him. Errol Spence always responds to him, but nonetheless, Errol Spence responded to him, and so he actually got a phone conversation with Errol Spence. All right. So at the end of the day, he got what he wanted. Okay. He made sure he got what he wanted. Demetrius Andre, I keep on saying it over and over again. Demetrius Andre is not getting what he wants, because he's not as aggressive enough for it. And y'all could say what y'all want about Terrence Crawford. You can say all kinds of negative things about him. He's getting what he wants, and he's doing it with Top Rank and Bob Arum. All right. Now Errol Spence don't have to hop, skip, and jump to Terrence Crawford. He doesn't have to. He's the man at the division right now. He got the 2 belts, right? He's the man at the division. He called the shots, really, if you think about it. I ain't behaved like that with Terrence Crawford. But my point anyway is this. Errol Spence is showing you he wants to face Terrence Crawford. Okay? No and if or buts about that. He took on Sean Porter. If he takes on Sean Porter, why wouldn't he take on Terrence Crawford? And then again, like I said before, this is the guy that sparred Floyd Mayweather and gave him a black eye, allegedly. Why would he be afraid of Terrence Crawford? Terrence Crawford ain't a better fighter than Floyd. In no way, shape, or form. No way, shape, or form. Right? Floyd sparred Pernell Whitaker. Errol sparred Floyd. It's called the passing of the torch, if you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay? So, I don't see why he should be afraid of Terrence Crawford. Why would he be afraid of Terrence Crawford? You know what I'm saying? It's common sense. I'm just saying. So, like I said before, Errol is going to face Terrence Crawford. Now, y'all want to jump the gun and talk about if Terrence Crawford beat Errol and all this stuff. That's not my business. I personally think Errol has the advantage over Terrence. Because like I said before, I agree with get this smoke and I see eye to eye on this one. That is, Terrence Crawford engages too damn much. That's why he keeps on getting hit. He get cracked by Gamboa. He got cracked up by this recent guy here, Mean Machine, I think you call him. Right? Egidis Gavaliauskas was landing straight rights. and counterpunching this motherfucker because he kept on engaging too damn much. He traded too much. He traded too much. Always trading. And that'll get you in trouble. You will get caught. He likes to fight too much. He likes to brawl too much. Against Errol, that's a bad idea. Very bad idea. You know? Because Errol is the physically bigger guy. He's been at welterweight his whole career. That's just a dumb idea. No matter how strong Terrence Crawford feels he is, it's just dumb to be trying to trade and engage with Errol. You got to pot shot Errol, and Errol's a pot shot himself, even though he break you down to the body. And then again, Errol, that's what he do. He breaks you down to the body. That's what Errol do. He go to the body. That's what he do. He's like a Canelo. He's not like a Triple G. He's like a Canelo. And he's not straight up and down. He's not a simple fighter. I try to explain it to people, but they don't understand. His footwork is crazy. You know, but that's for another day. So that's why I say I favor Errol. If y'all favor Terrence Crawford, more power to you. The honest truth is, it's a competitive fight. No matter how you look at it, it's a competitive fight. So whether you favor Terrence Crawford or whether I favor Errol Spence doesn't mean that either one will win. It could end up being a draw. It could end up being one in a split decision win. You know, that kind of thing. Because I don't see Errol knocking out Terrence Crawford. I don't see Terrence Crawford knocking out Errol Spence. That ain't happening. The thing I can tell you is Errol Spence has the higher caliber, higher quality opposition he has faced and has experience in the ring with. All right? When you share the ring with Floyd Mayweather, you're on a different status altogether, in my opinion. Right? Canelo, much better fighter because he shared the ring with Floyd Mayweather. All right? Errol Spence, he's proven he's the truth. Okay, he's the truth. This is what it is. It is what it is. The separation between him and Sean Porter wasn't much. That little knockdown made the separation, in my opinion. It wasn't a full-fledged knockdown, but that was the difference. Sean a little bit less accurate. Okay? Because Errol stood up to Sean caught him with some good shots. Some good double rights and stuff like that. But Errol's a dog. He got decent defense too. Decent defense. So, but it's his footwork that gets him out of trouble. His footwork. You know, he's got a really nice pivot work. That man knows how to pivot, boy. He got great pivot work. And the other thing I noticed that was really good about him is he can change levels very, very well. And that's something you have to learn to do. That's not just something, you pick up overnight. He's very technically sound. Comes off the jab. He could do a little bit more head feinting. He gets caught down the center line when he's coming in attacking people sometimes because his head don't be off the center line. But other than that, he's a good solid fighter. He's strong as an ox. And got a great stance. His stance is a very, very strong stance. You can see he worked on that. These things that I'm talking to you guys about, that I don't know how much you guys actually understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes I talk to things I don't think you guys understand. Cause I'm always coming from a boxing perspective. I'm not coming from, how much I like this fighter or how much I like that fighter. All right, if you ask me, between Errol and Terrence Crawford, I like Terrence Crawford more than Errol. This might sound ironic, but I like Terrence Crawford more than Errol. I think Terrence Crawford does more of the right things, taking care of his body particularly. I think Errol is more lax and slack on that. But I think what Terrence Crawford lacks in discipline is he's too aggressive at times and he gets caught. And that's the thing that really kind of throws it off. So that's why I'm looking at it from the get the smoke perspective of, if this dude would stop trading so much and sometimes pot shot a bit, try to vary range, not try to be too aggressive all the time. Even when he was fighting Jose Benavidez, he keep on fucking trading too damn much. He lucky Benavidez didn't catch him in between that trade. If that was Danny Garcia, he would not have been as lucky. You know what I'm saying? And Benavidez is a long-rangey guy, but he don't fight on the inside. Neither he nor his brother David Benavidez know how to fight on the inside. But Terrence keep on trading with him on the outside. He should close that distance, get on the inside. You know, Mercio Herrera, that's what he would do. He would get below David Jose Benavidez's jab and come over the top with his right hand. You know, again, I'm talking from a boxing perspective. I can't talk from nothing else but a boxing perspective. So when I assess things, it's always from a boxing perspective. But yes, I like Terrence's discipline. He always in shape. He's always training. He's always working. You know, I love his work ethic. You know, I like everything about him. I like. As I said before, he really impressed me with the Felix Diaz fight and with the other kid. I always forget the other kid's name. Them two fights really impressed me. You know, even the Victor Postol fight was pretty impressive. I beat up Victor Postol. But again, sometimes he traded too damn much. And a guy who know what he's doing will catch him in between those trades. Sometimes he's a little wild and loopy with his shots. I know he changed his stance and all of that, but I'm just saying. He changed it up nice. He changed up his stance nice too. He go from orthodox to southpaw nice. But there's a lot of other things in the game that he do that's really nice. Like how he put the jab out, how he set up his jab, how he would step around you and keep his head off center line. You know, all those little things are beautiful. Even how he trained for Amir Khan to get his speed up, so he could be kind of up to speed to catch Khan in between Khan's shots. And Khan comes straight in, not moving his damn head. You know, he was able to catch him with the hook. You know, and he fights pretty intelligent. It's just that, you know, the level of opposition has not been something to really put him to the test, so he can refine and hone his skills, in my personal opinion. I remember Bud pulled up on Spence a year or two ago. Spence got terrified and tried to get out of the fight. No, that's not true, man. You making up shit now. Spence got his death sentence agreeing to the fight. Y'all talk this cross the street stuff. Did Vordic say I gotta face Hart, Ramirez, and Bitterbeer before Stevenson? That's the stupidest thing you ever said, brother. Was Gvozdyk a world champion? Was he? No, he wasn't. So just stop with the bullshit. First of all, Gvozdyk was the number one in contention after. Remember, Battle Jack fought Stevenson, and then Gvozdyk was the next in line to face him. So what nonsense you talking about, bro? He wasn't a world champion. Tangible boxing, boxing ego and blue blood. Two of the biggest clowns on YouTube. Oh, that's what you call them? Okay, I see. I can't take you seriously. Errol Spence wanted to fight Terrence so much that he then decided to fight a completely meaningless fight versus Garcia. Did he fight Garcia though? He didn't fight Garcia. And it wasn't meaningless. Garcia got in the ring and said he wanted to face him next. Terrence Crawford wasn't there to confront him. Why wasn't Terrence Crawford up in the ring telling Errol Spence, I want to fight you next? Crawford was at Wilder Fury. What does that have to do with it? His opponents are welterweight. He had Wilder Fury. Who give a fuck? Nobody give a fuck that he got Wilder Fury. We want to see you where these guys are fighting. Show up and show your face. Man, y'all not serious, man. Y'all just clowns, man. Y'all just clowns. Like, you're not making no sense, brother. You never make sense. You just talk. Again, a fanboy. God damn, fanboys. Tangible boxing. Errol Spence is a pot shatter. Have you ever watched him fight before? He's a volume puncher. You asshole. He's a pot shatter. He pot shots guys first. He don't just throw combinations. He don't just start off throwing a whole bunch of combinations, you asshole. Man, you guys just sound so stupid right now. Intangible boxing. Errol Spence great at changing levels. Bye-bye. Yes, you asshole. What do you think he did against Mikey Garcia? He got below him and bumped him with the shoulder. You got to change levels to do that. Can't remember Just Taylor versus Reggie Sprogray, you jackass? Man, you being a fucking asshole, man. Tangible boxing. Crawford trades too much, but Spence isn't even a good counterpuncher. Man, get the fuck out of here. Man, y'all some punk ass little bitches, man. You're a punk ass little bitch. Jesus Christ, man. Be talking so much bullshit. So much bullshit. shit. The fuck you talking about? Like, you really get me mad sometimes. Cause obviously you should know boxing, man. You should know fucking boxing. What the fuck, man? You such a... Are you being a fucking clown? Jesus Christ, man. Errol Spence fighting Mikey Garcia. He fought like Joe Kelsey. Shut the fuck up, you dumbass motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. You really sound like an asshole right now. You sound like a fucking asshole. He controlled him with a jab, you fucking asshole. The jab. Alright? Every time he tried to close the distance to throw combinations on Mikey Garcia would block up everything. He just lock up and block up everything. It's on the inside Errol Spence was able to land, and he was still landing 1 or 2 shots at a time. That's called fucking pot shot. He ain't throwing combinations. Because he couldn't get combinations on Mikey. Man, he threw, I think it was 600 and something punches. This is true. But the effective punches that he did were mostly pot shot punches, using the jab. Alright, even against Sean Porter, the shots that he was most effective with were shots when he was pot shot. Do you even know what the fuck a pot shot is? You think guys, okay, because a guy's a volume puncher. I mean, man, I hate to have to explain this shit to you guys. Like, you guys just don't know no fucking boxing, man. I don't know what else to say. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm watching something and I'm like, you serious? You serious? This is not even an entertaining conversation. Like, this is not a conversation that's worth entertaining. You either know boxing or you don't know boxing. Alright? The fuck you think a pot shotting is? Pot shotting is throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time. If you watch that Sean Porter versus Errol Spence fight, Errol Spence is not throwing combinations. He's throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time against Sean Porter. Even when he gets him against the ropes, he's throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time. He's not throwing flurries. Porter was throwing flurries. In fact, Spence was picking him apart to the body when he got on the inside. He'd rough him up, get him into position, then he'd throw 1 or 2 punches. He wasn't throwing a whole set of combinations. Now, he threw a lot of single punches, but he wasn't throwing a single or double punches, but he wasn't throwing a bunch of combinations. Even the knockdown was because of 1 single punch at a time. He threw a jab and then he threw a left, and that caught Sean Porter, as Sean Porter was throwing his left. Porter was the one throwing a lot of combinations. Errol was trying to roll off the punches. He would roll the punches with his shoulder. So now he get caught flush with a double right hand, because Sean Porter was doing all kinds of shit. But Errol was picking Sean Porter apart. He would leverage those punches. He leveraged the body shot. Wow. Or sometimes when Sean Porter's throwing his combination, Errol throw a left in the midst of the combination. Wow. Up in the center. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you sometimes, man, you guys just sound stupid, man. You just sound really, really stupid. You know, you sound really stupid. Just because a guy at the end of the fight throws like 600 punches doesn't necessarily mean that he's throwing combinations all the time. There's a difference between a combinational puncher and a guy throwing 1 or 2 punches. Andre Berto, high activity fighter. He is a pot shotter. He don't throw 3, 4, 5 punches at a time. At most, 1 or 2 punches at a time. Berto is a pot shotter. Canelo throws about 400, 500 punches a fight. But Canelo don't throw but 1 or 2 punches at a time. Every now and then he does a 4 or 5 a combination of punches. But he throws 1 or 2 punches at a time. He's a pot shotter. He even told us that. He said, I'm a pot shotter. I pot shot. Okay? This is common sense. Again. You know, I don't understand. It's like talking to some jackass. Like you switch your brain off and you put on Terrence Crawford's brain or something. You know, and now we hearing the fight definitely happens. Your dumb ass can't even acknowledge, oh shit, Errol Spence wasn't running from him. Because Errol Spence just calmed him down, had a conversation with him. Terrence realized Errol's the dude. He's a real dude. He really gonna have a fight with me. You can't even acknowledge that shit. You going on to when Terrence Crawford will beat him. Like a fucking fanboy. You can't even process the fact that Errol Spence is telling Terrence Crawford, I want that fight. I'm going to face you. Because I want all the straps. You can't even see that shit yet. Errol's also afraid of Terrence. It was 2 years ago. It wasn't 2 years ago, first of all. But my point is this. You talking about, you know, Terrence Crawford going to beat Errol Spence and all of this stuff. You don't know if he's going to beat him. I don't know if he's going to beat him. All I can say is I favor Errol in that fight. I'm not going to say that he's going to beat Terrence Crawford and all that shit that you saying. I'm not going to talk that smack. You know, I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because you've been wrong. I've been wrong before. I just want to see the fight. I just want to see the fight. I favor Errol in that fight. I don't think that Errol is what y'all saying he is. You know, Terrence was talking all those magnificent words and all that bullshit. Errol hasn't been really going at him on Twitter because Errol know that don't mean shit. That's just talk. That's just talk. He just trying to make a fight. Once the fight is made, it's a totally different story. Right? I don't believe no fighter is afraid of no fighter in the boxing game. Just like how Showbiz the Adult is correct. Ain't no fighter afraid of no fighter. Some fighters afraid to lose their O, yes. But ain't no fighter afraid of no fighter. That's what they do. They fight. I'm not going to say stupid fanboy shit like Errol going to knock out Terrence Crawford because I don't believe that will happen. And I also don't believe that Terrence Crawford can knock out Errol Spence or will knock out Errol Spence. I just don't think so. And all the shit talk that Bo Mack be saying and Terrence Crawford be saying, I know it's just shit talk to get the fight, get people interested in the fight, so I understand. I can see past all of that shit. Anyways, let me get on to the next topic that I want to talk about. Spence isn't even a good counterpuncher. Errol Spence fighting versus Mikey Garcia fought like Joker. I will be more civil, but you always bring up Bud. You got to counter your points. I got to. But you don't counter points with bullshit, boy. You don't counter points with rubbish. Okay? You got to make sense. I can't tolerate people who's supposed to be smart enough to understand and be able to talk boxing with some sense. You're not talking with sense. That's what's annoying to me. Right? You know what pot shotting is. You know that any skilled boxer out there, they pot shot. Then they start to crash their opponent when they can find an opening. All right? Any skilled boxer out there. Terrence Crawford is no exception. Okay? Terrence Crawford doesn't just engage. He doesn't go mad and just throw a whole bunch of punches. All right? He definitely doesn't leave himself open when if he can avoid it. He's not going to leave himself open to get hit by shots. He's not GGG, who'll stick his head out and get hit in his head. He's not stupid like that. He keep his guard up so he can get hit on his guard. If his head is along the center line. If he realizes getting tagged with his head along the center line, he'll pull back. Coming off the jab off an angle. That's Terrence Crawford. That's Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford is also a very intelligent boxer. Right? Even though against Gavaliauskas he took a lot of punishment and took a lot of punches, which is unlike Terrence Crawford, generally speaking, except when he liked to trade too damn much. Did the same thing against Gamboa. Did the same thing against Benavidez. He leave himself open too damn much. Don't do that against Terrence. Don't do that against Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a pretty accurate puncher. All right. I've seen Errol Spence get hit upside the head by Kell Brook as well. Hurt by Kell Brook too. All right. So it's not like I'm saying that, you know, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Errol Spence ain't no Floyd Mayweather. Let's put it that way. Defense wise, neither is Terrence Crawford. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, Errol Spence is not just going to trade to get hit. He's kind of careful about that. And Terrence needs to be that way too. I'm trying to have a conversation that makes sense. That's all. I'm trying to have a conversation that makes sense. If you're not making no fucking sense, then just shut up. Don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I'm just kind of be disrespectful. I'm gonna just run through you. Okay? Don't do that. Make some fucking sense. Errol Spence changed levels on Mikey Garcia. He showed me something. He showed you could get low. Not everybody can do that either. All right? Well, on the inside, he bumping Mikey Garcia with his shoulder to pivot around him on the inside. Inside pivot around him and land buddy punches. You know, Mikey stayed with him. Also was able to protect his body pretty good too. Showed some pretty good pivot work himself. And that is not easy to fucking do. All right? I told y'all about 180-degree pivots. That's not easy to do. Mike Tyson was a guy that could do it. He did it in a different kind of way. Errol could actually pivot all the way around you, 180 degrees, from one side of your body to the next. That's something I've seen Mayweather do against Pacquiao. Errol Spence sacrifices defense for body shots. Errol Spence absolutely is not a natural pot shotter. Yes, he's a natural pot shutter, you idiot. That's part of his game. Like I said before, any good boxer knows how to pot shot. And part of pot shotting is using the jab. And we all realize Errol Spence had a good jab against Mikey Garcia. That's part of pot shotting. It's common sense, but I guess not for you. Tangible Boxer says, I box, man. Don't tell me I don't know boxing. You don't know fucking shit right now. You're talking like a dumbass. Tangible Boxing, I acknowledge I am a Bud fan. Man, you're a fucking Bud fan. That's the problem with you. You're not thinking straight. I ride with him all the way. I don't give a fuck. I know all his moves. I don't give a fuck. I've seen him spar. I don't give a fuck. I've seen his fight, strengths, weaknesses. I don't give a fuck. I know he has the dog IQ and skills. I don't give a fuck. My thing is, when we're having a conversation, we need to have an intelligent one. All right? We need to have an intelligent conversation. Okay? I'm not here to be biased and to be an asshole. Okay? I'm here to have an intelligent conversation. And when you start to drop your conversation, you can't have an intelligent conversation with me. Man, I don't give a fuck about you. We need to have an intelligent conversation. Okay? I'm saying things that I actually see in the ring that this motherfucker be doing. Errol Spence. You said you're a Bud fan. Fine. Well, follow Errol Spence. Okay? Follow him too. That's the opponent that he'll be facing. Know his fucking strengths. And know his weaknesses. But when you underestimate Errol Spence, thank God, I hope Bud is not doing that. When you underestimate him, then he'll surprise you in the ring. Just like how Keith Thurman underestimated Manny Pacquiao. Just like how Sean Porter Errol Spence underestimated Sean Porter. You never underestimate your opposition. You always respect your opposition. When you have to step into that square circle, you should know this shit. Okay? You need to know what these guys do well. And don't tell me Errol Spence is not a good counter puncher, but that's bullshit. If he's not a good counter puncher, how he knocked down Sean Porter? It's a counter. It's a counter that got Sean in that position. He was countering Sean. I mean, you're talking things and you like it doesn't make no fucking sense. You're not making sense to me. Okay? You're trying to put down one fighter to raise up another. I'm giving you certain fighters flaws that another fighter can exploit. I'm not putting down Terrence Crawford. Very intelligent fighter. Very skilled fighter. He just has to downplay on his exchanges and do a little bit more pot shotting. That's my advice to him. So he can get the W. You see? That's what I'm saying, basically. And again, I don't have no rat in the race. I like both fighters. I don't care who wins, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, you have to point to a spade as a spade. Why we picked Tony Harrison over Jamel Charlo was because Tony Harrison, we thought, had Jamal Charlo's number. We thought he was a better boxer than Jamal Charlo. And he is. He's a better boxer, but he made a mistake. You can't make a mistake like that against a guy like that. Right? Still lost. So in all your predictions, in which you were wrong about that one, as was I, you have to be able to think to yourself, you know what, I could be wrong here. This is a good fight, though. I want to see it. And that's the important thing, to see the fight and then see how it play out. Just because I got Errol Spence and you got Terrence Crawford, because I'm coming from a boxing perspective, that I think Errol Spence will take advantage of the situation that Terrence keeps on trading too much. I think that's why I have Errol Spence beating Terrence Crawford. But is that guarantee he will beat him? No. Right? So, at the end of the day, they're going to fight. They're going to fight. And then after they fight and they finish fighting, we'll have one more step, if not the step, to undisputed. It may be the undisputed fight, if it's later on this year and Errol faces Pacquiao. Or it may be one step closer to the undisputed position, where Pacquiao may not face either one of them, and they may have 3 belts, and there's just one more to get. And that's the important thing. All right? In the meantime, if Terrence Crawford wants to fight before that, Danny Garcia talked about it at the end of last year, saying that he's available, that Bob Arum sent the paperwork, and he would take it on. Of course, you heard Kenny Porter saying that we don't have a problem taking on Errol Spence if we can't get Pacquiao, or not Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford if we can't get Pacquiao, Errol Spence rematch. Sean Porter didn't really verbalize and say literally, I want, Terrence Crawford, but he has mentioned that that's an option. All right, and Terrence Crawford has said he didn't want to face him at first, but now I see him throwing some smoke at Sean, so that means it's all fair and game. It looks like they can have it going on as well. In which case, that would be good too. Okay. I mean, once you can get somebody from the PBC to face, that's good. And the fact that PBC fighters are saying, well, okay, make the fight happen, it's also good. Okay. So, me personally, I'm just going to be happy that the fight actually happened. Okay? And I of course, you know who I picked to win. I'm still going to pick Errol to win. And hopefully, after that, They move on to the next person, and whoever loses that fight, again, I'm going to say this: whether the person loses or wins, they're going to win out because just having that other person's name on your resume, especially if it's a close decision or a close fight, it'll only take your stock and carry it up. It don't matter who wins. So at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford need a name on his resume. Once he can get Errol Spence's name on there, or Sean Porter, or a bunch of other welterweights on his resume, that's what matters. Everybody make this old thing so important, and it is important. But you have to face the competition so that your O really looks like something. So that's what I got to say on that. And I'm surprised that a lot of people don't get that. As the person I'm more concerned about is Demetrius Andrade. He ain't saying shit. His promoter ain't saying shit. He fighting another dud. How many duds will Demetrius Andrade face? Will he be Captain Dud, and is he content to just face duds? Because it's not helping his legacy. It's not helping anything. So he has to get a good fight. And the only way is for him to do like Terrence Crawford and start getting vocal. His promoter's not going to help him. He's going to have to help himself. And that's where I applaud Terrence Crawford on that. I applaud him on that. Anyway, people, that's what I got. I'm going to talk some more on what you need on this and some other events. And don't tell me I'm covering Terrence Crawford too much or whatever. This is what I'm supposed to do, okay? And if you were really paying attention, you would notice I'm complimenting Terrence Crawford on what he's doing. That's what I'm actually doing. But some people, man, some people just so stupid. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. You can't even process that shit. Your mind is in one vein. You think that I'm always trying to attack your favorite fighter or some shit like that. Because you're so fucking consumed by the fighter that you can't even see that I'm not even opposing the fighter. I'm actually praising the fighter. That's the stupidity I have to deal with. Man, talk about fanboys. Sometimes it's really a pain in the ass. Especially when y'all fanboys actually not even considering that it's boxing I'm talking. Like, I don't pick sides like that. It's boxing. I come from a boxing perspective. But you so want to oppose and antagonize that you sound like a damn dumbass. Sound like a dumbass. Okay? Stupid dumbass too at that. Somebody presents a case, they say this is why I think X, Y, and Z. This is why I think that this guy will win. You don't even give a fucking reason why Terrence Crawford would beat Errol Spence. You don't even know why. Oh, he just gonna win. He gonna beat him. And when Terrence Crawford knocks him out, I'm like, okay, so how is he gonna knock him out first? Dumbass. Secondly, I'm gonna ask you this. Because y'all talk so stupid when y'all become fanboys. How you gonna beat Errol Spence? How you gonna beat him? He don't have a style like Sean Porter. He doesn't have a style like Sean Porter. So how is he gonna beat Errol Spence? Sean Porter got up in his grill. And even when he got up in his grill, Errol Spence was still sneaking in those sharp counters. You said it wasn't a competitive fight between Sean Porter and Errol Spence. You said that shit, not me. So if Sean Porter wasn't as successful as you said he was, how the fuck is Terrence Crawford gonna be successful? Terrence Crawford don't have faster feet than Sean Porter. He don't have better head movement and body movement than Sean Porter. He doesn't. Sean Porter can get to the inside and he can get past your jab. He's not Sean Porter. Again, these are just simple arguments from a boxing perspective. A boxing perspective. If I wanted to talk emotional perspective, that's totally different. We're talking from boxing. We're talking boxing here. Okay, Terrence Crawford doesn't have a style like Sean Porter. And styles make fights. Okay? So, you know, you going mountain bullshit. You talking a load of shit that Terrence Crawford said. Because Bomac said, oh, Errol Spence is straightforward. Just because Terrence Crawford said, Errol Spence is straightforward. You mounting that shit. You just parrot that shit like an asshole. You don't even know what the fuck you talking about. Then when I tell you that Errol Spence changes levels, you looking at me like, oh, he don't change no levels. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? You say that you observe everything with Terrence Crawford, but apparently you don't observe nothing with Errol Spence. See, I don't like dumbass fanboys, where you just get like a dumbass fanboy. Then you telling me, oh, Errol Spence don't pot shot. Guess what? They all pot shot. You stupid idiot. They all pot shots. They don't just go out there and start throwing combinations. You got to find a guy with your jab. Then after you find him with your jab, then you're going to try and work the body piece by piece. Get a shot in here, get a shot in there. If you can get a combination off on him to the body, you'll get a combination off to the body. If the guy don't deserve to be in the ring with you, then start working the body like a motherfucker. He couldn't do that against Sean Porter. He had to pick Sean Porter apart. And pot shotting doesn't mean only fighting on the outside. You can fight on the inside and pot shot a guy. You're picking your punches. That's what it means. You're landing precise surgical punches on a guy. That's what Errol Spence do. He don't throw 3 and 4 punches at a time. He throw 1 and 2, especially against Sean Porter. It was boom. As Sean Porter throw boop, 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 boop. Then Errol come back with a boop. And then a whoop, boop. And he put a lot of leverage into it. Or sometimes he sneak a shot in. That was what was going on. I mean, man, y'all's a trip. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all a trip. Shit, I don't need to be wasting my time on y'all. I'm tired, man. I'm tired of stupidity, man. You know, I don't have much patience for stupid people. I'm gonna be serious. I don't have much patience for stupid people. Especially when the discussion starts to get stupid. I don't have no patience for it. I really don't. I have zero tolerance for stupidity. Because I know what I'm talking about. I don't know about you. Let me get out of here. He accurate puncher because fucking asshole. He's a pot shotter. He'll crash you and he'll run his combinations on you to get you out of there and start softening you up if you open for it. He's not going to throw a punch if you're not open for it. Tangible Boxing says you can talk Floyd sparring all I want. He sparred Floyd, you dumbass. The fuck is wrong with you? Talked about how sharp Floyd was too. It don't matter. Bud hasn't sparred Floyd. Bud hasn't sparred Floyd. Floyd could say how much he wants to say that the guy reminds him of Bud. The thing is, Errol Spence has been in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. He's been in the ring with Floyd. How you, man, you a stupid ass motherfucker, man. You stupid. That's what I'm saying. You stupid, man. I'm tired of talking to you. I'm tired of talking to you because you're being stupid right now. It's just, you're so stupid right now. The man has sparred Floyd. One of the best boxers of this era. Okay? He sparred him. He busted up his eye. Okay? You don't get better boxers than that. So how Terrence Crawford a better boxer than Floyd? Terrence Crawford's a better boxer than... Say that sacrilege. Let me hear you say it. Terrence Crawford's a better boxer than Floyd. Say that. So we can get it out of the water. We can get it out of the way. He a better boxer than Floyd. Because that's what you're basically saying. Oh, it don't matter that he sparred Floyd. I mean, of course it matters that he sparred Floyd, you dumbass. Of course it matters. Because if he could handle Floyd, what for Terrence Crawford? That's what we're basically saying. I mean, Floyd sparred Pernell Whitaker. Oh, it didn't matter that he just sparred Pernell Whitaker. That don't mean nothing. That's what you basically saying. I heard he got the better of Pernell Whitaker too. I mean, sparring does count for something. It does count for something. You gotta be out of your fucking mind, man. Out of your fucking mind. Because you're not making no fucking sense right now. You're not making any sense to me. The man sparred Floyd Mayweather. Something Terrence Crawford has never done. The most Terrence Crawford has sparred is Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley, who never faced Floyd Mayweather because he was with Top Rank. That Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley that acknowledged Floyd Mayweather would kick his ass if he had to face him. That Timothy Bradley. Yeah. You don't get it. You don't get it. Why would Errol Spence be afraid of Terrence Crawford? That's your alleged thing. He's afraid of Terrence Crawford. Yet he's telling Terrence Crawford the fight's going to happen. Why would Terrence Crawford call him first of all and get acknowledgement that the fight is going to happen? Why is Errol Spence assuring Terrence Crawford the fight will happen? If he's so afraid of Terrence Crawford. None of this shit makes sense. Your logic doesn't hold up. Why would he be afraid of Terrence Crawford and he sparred Floyd Mayweather? The best boxer of this era, probably of all time. Why would he be afraid of Terrence Crawford? You face better opposition than fucking Terrence Crawford, but you're going to be afraid of Terrence Crawford. That makes sense. Make that make sense for me. You're not making no fucking sense, bro. You're not making no fucking sense. You're making no sense whatsoever. Anybody watching this telecast be wondering what the fuck is going through his head. You're a fanboy. You're a fucking fanboy. You're fanboying out. Because none of what you say is making any fucking sense. And it's just annoying me. I feel so annoyed right now. You just feel like contesting me for contesting's sake. Because you sound like an asshole. You sound like a fucking idiot. You sound stupid as fuck. Stupid as fuck. Spencer's never faced a mover like Budge. Get the fuck out of here. I just said he just sparred Floyd Mayweather. I just said he sparred Floyd Mayweather. I just said he allegedly gave Floyd Mayweather a black eye. What the fuck are you talking about? He's never sparred a mover. He's never fought a mover like Bud. What was Chris Algieri? Chris Algieri don't move in the ring, I guess. He's a boxer type. He stopped him. Stopped him. Man, man. You sound stupid, dude. You're sounding stupid. Everything you're saying is sounding very stupid to me. Very, very stupid. Very annoying as well. Okay? You're trying to challenge things I say, and it's making no motherfucking sense. None whatsoever. None. They call you Peter Pan for a reason, man. You be on a dream and a wish, bro. You dreaming and wishing, and you making up shit as you go. Oh, sparring Floyd, that don't count. Sparring Floyd don't count. This is the shit you saying. Errol Spence don't pot shot. Errol Spence don't change levels. What the fuck you talking about? He just straight up and down fighter. Terrence Crawford, man, he's pound for pound number one. This is the shit you say. Terrence Crawford, man, I know everything. I know those moves and everything. Yeah, Terrence Crawford might engage too much, but Errol Spence don't counter punch. These are the shit that you saying that doesn't make no fucking sense. I'm going with the points you say. I want you to see the argument. I see your argument. It's stupid. It's like a fucking fanboy right now. You just You all of a sudden you're nullifying things that don't fit into your narrative. You just make they don't exist. Poof. You're doing like Donald Trump right now. You're doing alternative reasoning. None of it makes fucking sense. None of this shit makes fucking sense right now. None of it. None. But you're trying to invalidate, but it's not making no sense. Why it's not making no sense? Because you're trying to invalidate a fact. Errol sparred Floyd. Fact. Errol's skill set is more than just a guy coming forward, taking punches and giving punches. Fact. Errol was an Olympian. Terrence Crawford was not. Fact. Crawford didn't make it to the Olympics. Errol did. Fact. You want to deal with facts? Those are facts. Okay? So, at the end of the day, when you try to say, oh, this guy is basic, you are doing yourself a disservice and you're doing Terrence Crawford a disservice. Because if he was to have the point of view that you have, which is what allegedly he and Womack are saying, but I hope they don't believe what they're saying, they're in for a rude awakening. Like I said, and we've seen, Errol Spence is especially dangerous down the stretch after he is invested to the body. After he has done his work to the body, he is especially dangerous down the stretch. Lamont Peterson was a similar kind of fighter. Lamont Peterson was a slower starter than Errol Spence was. Canelo Alvarez is a similar kind of fighter. When did he drop Sean Porter? Late in the fight, after he had put in a lot of body work early on. Spence has never faced a mover like Bud. In fact, Sean was beating Errol on the outside. I don't think Spence will be ready. Again, you're saying rubbish. Because you just said Sean was beating Errol on the outside. He's never met a mover like Bud, but Sean was beating Errol on the outside. What does that mean? Sean was a mover like Bud. That's what you're basically saying. He's never faced a mover like Bud, but yet Sean was beating him on the outside. You just contradicted yourself in the same fucking sentence. In the same sentence. Bud is not Floyd. Duh. We all know that. He's more Eric Morales-esque. Styles make fights. You heard what you just said? And what happened to Eric Morales against Manny Pacquiao, the second and third fights? Pacquiao kept on catching him, leaning in. Because he engaged too fucking much. Styles make fights. I never claimed Bud was as skilled as Floyd Mayweather Jr. Then shut the fuck up, because Floyd's more skilled and Errol sparred him. Floyd Mayweather was a great boxer. He's not the ultimate key to greatness, man. He's not a boxing god. It's just sparring. No, it's not just sparring. When he blackens his fucking eye, you dumbass. It's not just sparring. He's trying to sharpen him up for Guerrero. You clown, man. You a clown. First of all, there's a difference between a sparring partner and a guy coming in saying, I ain't no sparring partner. Okay? And Errol wasn't no sparring partner. And you know Floyd talked that shit. So what they call sparring is real fighting. Them guys was really going at it. Okay? That's the first point. But anyway, that's doghouse rules. But that's another story for another day. Let's leave that on the side. The point is, he been christened by Floyd. And Floyd dubbed him the next best thing. So whatever you want to say after that, I really don't give a fuck. They call me Peter Pan because I'm Magical G. Yeah, well, right now you ain't working no magic, brother. Terrence Crawford does oftentimes engage too much. Duh. Like Eric Morales. He is fought very disciplined, like against Postol. Nope, he was engaging a lot against Postol as well. He engages a lot. He gets away with shit because he changed his stance. You know, he gets away with shit, but he engages way too fucking much. You cannot do that against an A-level opponent like an Errol Spence, a Manny Pacquiao, or Sean Porter. You don't do that shit. Or Danny Garcia. You don't do it against them guys. And them guys is A-level of guys. Victor Postol is not A-level. You know that. You know Victor Postol is not A-level. You know Jose Pedraza is not A-level. Right? Gamboa was the guy that was A-level, and you saw what Gamboa was doing to Terrence Crawford. Wobbled him all kinds of things. Had him buckling all kinds of shit in the early rounds. Okay? And he wasn't even in his weight class. He wasn't even fully in the weight class. And he was doing that to Bud. And we see what Edgidis Gavaliauskas did to him. He so want to fucking engage, he gets tagged. You don't want Errol Spence to be doing that to him. He'll drop his ass. He'll hurt him and get him in trouble a lot more faster. And there'll be problems after that. It'll be an uphill battle for Terrence. Terrence is constantly walking Postol into counters. Yeah, he was setting him up, but he was engaging. He would throw like 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. And he missed some of them. That's the problem with Terrence Crawford. He engaged too fucking much. Like I said, his problem is that. That's it. Sometimes you need to just punch shot a guy, hit him a punch or two. Don't engage him so much because he can get caught in between with trades. He can be engaging. I mean, he did it against Jose Benavidez as well. Now, he fought a lot more discipline against Benavidez and Postol in the sense that he knew he couldn't just trade all the time, but he still was throwing 3, 4, 5 punch combinations at times. Against Dan, you can't slip up and do that shit. They always looking for the opportunity. Errol Spence is the same kind of dude. You can't do that with him. That's how Porter got caught. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because they're going to have the fight and we're going to see what happens. And that's not my issue. My issue is not that. My issue is how you are dismissing Errol Spence and his skill set and his abilities. And you think this is just a cakewalk for Terrence Crawford. He's just going to run over Errol Spence. This is not going to happen. Ninja, that's not going to happen. Not even in the least. And if Terrence thinks that, then he's in for a rude awakening. A rude awakening. Okay? He's not going to run over nobody. This is the welterweight division. He has never faced any guys on that level. He's never faced no fighter at that level. The closest thing he's faced to that level is Gamboa. That's it. Okay? And Gamboa is nowhere in the league of these guys. He's not. He hasn't accomplished what they have accomplished. He's not as solid as they are. He's not in his preferred weight class like they were. He was dropped multiple times. These guys are not dropped. I don't even know. Has Errol Spence ever been dropped? I don't think he's ever been dropped. Danny Garcia's never been dropped. Keith Thurman was dropped second time in his career, I think. So Keith Thurman's been dropped. Sean Porter's been dropped a couple times. Right? But Gamboa's been dropped a lot. A lot. Even before he faced Terrence Crawford. I mean, that's the best that Terrence Crawford has faced. So he hasn't faced anything like these guys. In the pros. In the amateurs, he's faced 1 or 2 of them. But in the pros, and always been competitive fights. So I don't know how you can even try to fathom that this guy is just going to go off and run through everybody. That's like the ridiculousness that they were saying about Errol Spence running through Sean Porter. I said, fuck no. He ain't knocking out Sean Porter. I knew that definitively. He ain't knocking out Sean Porter. And I knew he was in for a tough fight. I said this was a 50-50 fight and turned out to be almost that. All right? And there's no way in God's green earth Terrence Crawford's just running through any one of these top welterweights I just spoke about. Any one of them. And if you want to believe that bullshit and the trash and the shit talk that Terrence be talking, that's up to you. But I can tell you for a fact, he's not running through Danny Garcia. That's a competitive fight. He's not running through Sean Porter. That's a very competitive fight in which I favor Porter. He's not running through Errol Spence. It's a very competitive fight in which I favor Errol Spence. He's not running through Manny Pacquiao. He's not even stopping Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna say that definitively. He's not stopping Manny Pacquiao. If Keith Thurman couldn't stop Manny Pacquiao, fuck no, Terrence Crawford is not stopping Manny Pacquiao. Fuck no, Errol Spence is not stopping Manny Pacquiao. And all of you guys who believe that Errol Spence would stop Manny Pacquiao or Terrence Crawford, you are highly misinformed. Highly misinformed. Because Pacquiao is no fucking joke. No joke whatsoever. Alright? That is just ludicrous. Anybody could think that. I'm telling you right now, because if Keith Thurman couldn't stop his ass, they not stopping his ass. He gonna take some punishment. I guarantee you would take some punishment, especially down the stretch. And he's old, but as to say they're gonna stop Pacquiao, fuck no. Marquez is probably the only guy that's gonna ever stop Pacquiao in recent times. The other 2 times was early in his career. He ain't not gonna get stopped. So Pacquiao, I know this for a fact. Everybody been trying to stop Pacquiao. Mayweather tried to stop Pacquiao. Jesse Vargas tried to stop Pacquiao. Chris Algieri tried to stop Pacquiao. And Jesse Vargas could thump pretty good. He knocked out that Puerto Rican kid. He knocked him out. What's his name? That's how he won the WBO title, I think it is. What's his name? Can't remember his name right now. You know? Jesse Vargas can thump. He knocked down Timothy Bradley too. He can thump. He got some pop. You know? Who else tried to knock him out? Lucas Matisse tried to knock him out, but Lucas Matisse was damaged goods. But nonetheless, Lucas Matisse just 80% knockout ratio, right? Keith Thurman tried to knock him out. Keith Thurman said he was going to knock him out. He's going to stop his career. That shit didn't happen. So anybody telling you that, you know, Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford going to knock out Pacquiao, I don't believe it. I got to see that with my eyes. Pacquiao has proven me wrong too many times for me to believe anybody going to knock him out just like that. I don't believe that. He's too smart, he's too crafty, he's too skilled. See, the thing with Pacquiao is when you try to go to his body, like I was trying to explain to a guy on Facebook, he has this weird way like Errol Pryor where he wriggles his body. He rides your punches. He's like a bubba head dog. He kind of bubs and moves with your punches. The only time you can catch Pacquiao is when he's actually on the attack. But other than that, when he's on the defense, he's really hard. He's very elusive. He puts his 2-guard up, protects his head and his body with his 2-guard, and then he counters you. While you're attacking him, he's countering you. It's very difficult to fight. Pacquiao's a very difficult guy to fight. And he does get hit with shots. But he can take them. He got a big head, and he got a hard head. You know, he can take shots. Marcus hit him with the perfect shot, though. He caught him coming in. He tripped over Marcus' foot with his reckless stuff. He's not as reckless either now. He's much more wily. Keith Thurman said he was expecting him to rush in a lot. Nope. Said he's very patient. So, Pacquiao is much more dangerous now than ever before. He's not going to knock out them guys. I don't think he's going to knock out Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. I think they may even beat him. They may actually beat him. But it won't be an easy fight. I can tell you that. You know, Mayweather made it look easy because Mayweather's just exceptionally good, but it's not an easy fight. Ask Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley thought he was going to knock his ass out too. And Timothy Bradley ain't got no knockout power, but nonetheless, he thought he was going to knock out Pacquiao. Pacquiao dropped his ass twice in the last fight. Dropped him twice. Okay? Pacquiao ain't no joke, man. He's not no joke. You know, finished off Lucas Matisse, had Adrian Broner all defensive, and Keith Thurman very competitive fight. Keith Thurman really started putting a beat down on Pacquiao, and Pacquiao caught him with a perfect body shot. Took the momentum away from Keith Thurman. Even Keith Thurman was still winning the rest of the round. Keith Thurman went on to win the other 2 rounds, but nobody would have looked at that. But at that point in time, Pacquiao won the fight. That's why they're concerned. So he's tough. And because he's not boxing all the time, you know, staying away from boxing and refreshing his body and keeping it strong and stuff, he could fight another, 2-3 years, I guess. But he's not going to do that. He's probably going to just do one or two more fights, and that's it for Pacquiao. But man, he a hell of a fighter. And I'm just saying, none of those fights, none of those fights are assured that Terrence Crawford will win. They're not assurances. And they could put him as the ring could put him as pound for pound number one. They did it with Gennady Golovkin. You know, they can do all the shit that they want to do. They can put him pound for pound number one. They can put him as number one, but whatever. I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, for me, he has challenges. Challenges he's never faced before in his life, in the pros on that level. And them challenges is, we talking legends like Pacquiao. We're talking about guys who proven themselves like Errol Spence. I mean, they fight much better competition at welterweight. Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and Sean Porter, as well as Pacquiao. They all faced better opposition than Terrence Crawford at welterweight. Much better opposition. And so they are in a much better position, experience-wise, and then they all bring their unique skills to the table than Terrence Crawford. So for me to just have a huge leap and just, it doesn't make no logical sense to me. I don't know. Y'all been saying I'm a PBC fighter. People always accuse me of all kinds of dumbass shit. They said I'm a Flomo, all kinds of shit when I was talking about Floyd Mayweather TB. And even you, when you come with these dumbass arguments, you know, about all these other fighters who are better than Floyd. And I'm like, no. You know, you came with some really dumbass, but I don't want to go into that. Because your arguments were not necessarily dumbass. If you look at them from the surface, they seem to make sense. But then when you go into deeper, you realize all the holes in them. Let's put it that way. Because you did come up with stats and stuff. I'm going into that. Like I said, I'll show you some stuff. Because obviously, there's only one way to really do this, and that's to show. You can't, in boxing, you can't always talk boxing. I tried to talk boxing, but I realized that people just don't understand boxing. So it don't make no difference to me. You know, I've heard people throw all kinds of things at me, you know, and I'm looking at them like really. So I have proven over the years that I'm not just this dumbass guy that picks to one side and stays on one side. I'm a dude that actually appreciates the sport, but you still see me as like it's me versus you or some kind of shit like that. I'm not one of y'all. I'm not one of y'all fanboys, you know, that kiss ass. I don't do that. I come from facts. I come from studying fighters, looking at fighters. I keep on saying this over and over. I'm not one of y'all. I'm not a fanboy. Okay? I'm not a fanboy. When I acknowledge things that Canelo has done, when I acknowledge things that Floyd has done, when I've acknowledged things that Pacquiao has done, when I acknowledge things that fighters like Lomachenko have done, all right, I am acknowledging it based on boxing. I always come from a boxing perspective. Okay, I'm not coming from no fucking fanboy perspective. And that's the difference between me and you. Me and Get This Smoke when it comes to Deontay Wilder. Me and 68 Sports TV when it comes to Anthony Joshua. I don't give a fuck about Anthony Joshua Wilder like that. I don't give a fuck about Canelo like that. I don't give a fuck about Floyd like that. I don't give a fuck about Gervonta Davis like that. I don't give a fuck about Terrence Crawford like that. I don't give a fuck about Lomachenko like that. Teofimo Lopez like that. Devin Haney like that. Okay? When I talk about Demetrius Andrade right now, it's not because I like Demetrius Andrade. I'm not a fan of Demetrius Andrade like that. I've observed something, and that's what I'm saying. When I was talking about, even when I was talking about Gary Russell Jr., right? What Gary Russell Jr. was saying about Gervonta Davis and stuff like that. I mean, that's what Gary Russell Jr. be saying. You know, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not fanboy. I'm not fanboy. I don't pick sides. Right? But I do appreciate fighters. And you hear me talk about it. When I'm talking about the fighters of the past compared to the fighters of the present, it's because people have been so derogatory against the present fighters. Talking about the past fighters were greater. And, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to show y'all a different angle on this shit because y'all have not been considering it. And boxing as a sport has evolved. I keep on saying it over and over and over and over again. You listen, it's the same mantra. It's the same story. It's the same thing I've been saying over and over again. All right? So when I mention Floyd Mayweather, or I mention Pernell Whitaker, or when I mention Manny Pacquiao, or when I mention Manny Pacquiao now has done something that no other boxer has done. He's been a champion through 4 different decades. Nobody else has done that. Nobody. That's crazy shit. All right. That's crazy. That's a first. So when we talk about greatness, you got to put Pacquiao up there. And he is greater than Floyd, in my opinion. He is greater than Floyd. It's just what it is. Not better than Floyd, but he's greater than Floyd. And Showbiz the Adult agrees with me on that. And I don't think he watches my channel. He just has an independent thought, which shows the same thing. I totally see eye to eye with him in that. You know what I mean? So, whether you like it or not, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a fanboy. I don't just side with PBC. I look at a situation, I look at the truth of the situation, and then I call it. I'm not a PBC fanboy. I think the Zone had the best fights this year. You had Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Probably the fight of the year. We had all those. We had Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor. We had Jose Ramirez versus what's his name? Versus we had Canelo versus Danny Jacobs. We had Canelo versus Kovalev. All of this was on the Zone. We had Nonito Donaire versus Naoya Inoue. We had all those were great fights this year on the Zone. We had a bunch of the Zone fights. We had Katie Taylor. Was it Katie Taylor? Yeah, we had Katie Taylor. I think she featured twice this year. Last year. She had two fights. Yeah, with Delphine versus Katie Taylor happened earlier last year, and then later on in the year she won the super lightweight championship. Then we had a bunch of great DAZN fights. Danny Jacobs versus Canelo Alvarez happened this year. Last year, sorry. So we had the Super Series. We had two Super Series on the Zone. Actually, we also had Juan Carlos Francisco Estrada. If I'm not mistaken, he fought against some kid. It was a very exciting fight, actually. A lot of live fights, man. A lot of live fights. I thought the Zone was the one with the best, most competitive fights. Most competitive fights. Our PBC had more fights, but some were not very competitive and some were very competitive. The PBC fights that were really good were like Pacquiao versus Thurman, Spence versus Porter, Harris versus Charlo. I think that's about it. There may be others. But that's as much as I can think about. I thought the Zone was the best. ESPN was way behind everybody else, but they had some good fights like BWF versus Gavordik. And I'm scratching my head here. What was another good fight? I looked forward to BWF versus Gavordik. It was a good fight. I can't think of no other. Well, there's Lopez versus Comey, but that was a bit one-sided. It wasn't very competitive, so I can't count that. There was Lomachenko versus Campbell. Campbell put up a good fight. Lomachenko versus Campbell. That's about it. about it. Anywho's, man, talked a lot of boxing. This is Christ I Am Disciple channel. You can check me out on What You Need. I'm gonna go across to What You Need, and we're gonna talk more boxing on that channel. But for right now, this is Christ I Am Disciple channel. What I'm gonna do, maybe, is pull down this video from here and move it across to What You Need channel. So I might just pull this down, this live stream from here, and post it up over there. Gonna talk to Snyder Cut in a minute. So I'm gonna catch y'all guys later. Deuces.